Hey, Laura J. here to say I am a graduate of McMaster University from more than a decade ago, and I want to give a shout out to the Western University students who are standing up for their right to not have choices made for them. I want to say that in 2019, I actually got held against my will and wishes on a Form 3 and Form 1, which Form 42 is the subsection of a Form 1, if you didn't know. And this voluntary 72-hour hold, which was not voluntary, was then shifted into a 2-week involuntary hold, where I was a prisoner of the mental health system that I didn't realize was a threat to everyone. And you who are standing for your right to not be vexed, and I say that with an E for the energy that we are giving to a narrative that we no longer choose to go along with willingly. And I say vexed because it is also important to recognize that none of us have a duty to share private medical information publicly, and that there is a mixed war between the public and private. For it is only persons that can be formed, because it is our substance that the forms get us to conform to. And so all of this is relevant to you, because if you are vexed, you will believe you are subject to the Mental Health Act, which quickly becomes the Health Act if we do not do what you are doing. So thank you. Truly, from the bottom of my heart, my core, I do believe it is important for you to know what you are standing for, and it is not just your own rights. It is the rights of those who will follow in your footsteps, not yours directly or even mine who came before you in a different school, but we would be taught that it is the class. It is a class of persons that we have been taught changes our identity. And all of these aspects of the humanity, which is only one aspect of the man I tie my identity to, and no longer do unless I do. And so I just break down words in a way that will allow you to maybe play with them in a new way, and to say that what you are standing for is the right to actually be natural. Not a natural person, for a person is but a class of what has been created by the institutions that were made to serve us. The government were meant to serve man and woman. The government have just become de facto government, which means it is a corporatocratic government that is a box on top of a box on top of a box on top of a box. And then at the very bottom of that is the person, or the status, or the title, or the pronoun that is created by the one that gave the identity to the one that would no longer see themselves to be what they were allowed to be, because they checked the box that said they were other than they originally were, which is all of us as a man or woman originally, until we are then made aboriginal. And that means ab means from or away from the original, which is not to say anything disrespectful to those who identify as aboriginal. It is simply to say that those who do have not probably understood the significance of agreeing to be other than the original. And we think that our rights are tied to what was written for the ones that agree to be other than they originally were, when that is not true. For common law is the unwritten and unlimited law when not capitalized or hyphenated. And as an English major from the institution that I was indoctrinated by, I should say, rather than by, for my training was in critical thinking. So I was actually taught how to look at things from a critical lens and to ask questions. For when we ask questions, we are standing as king, asking. When we stand as king in the court of the now moment where all time is happening, that is where our power exists. When we are asked questions, then we must step out of the now into a not now moment, which is where information exists. And information is how our substance is moved into formation. It's just we've stopped seeing ourselves to be the dots that must be connected, you see? Reality is stranger than fiction. But then that is when we must see that fiction and nonfiction are said to be fiction is not truth, and then nonfiction means truth, right? No, that's part of the lie. That's part of the deception that you, by standing for your right not to be altered, to be alternative, alter the native, you standing for your right to actually make your own decisions as one who is willing to claim the right to be self governing naturally in your own private capacity, to say that just because I step into the public sometimes doesn't mean that I want to be altered in my privates, publicly or privately, all the time. I sometimes go there. It doesn't mean all the time I should be altered in order to sometimes go there, right? Well, if you go back to the fiction and nonfiction fact, that is a lie because it's not truth and truth. So why don't we just call it that? Because the legal fiction requires us to think that nonfiction means truth when it doesn't. This is part of what I want to unpack with you over the coming weeks. And so, as of September 1st, I'm going to be publishing daily messages that unpack the common law in an uncommon way. And also say that this is not just about the common law. The common law is what we draw from in order to be real, not to say what I draw from is what I'm limited by, but to say that the corporations, which are the corps that orate their rules, we are drawing from that to remind them compared to. CF means confer. To confer, I confer to this and say that the corpse is limited and bound by what is written. I am living, therefore I can say, I see that that is what you're limited by, and I'm going to hold you to it and stand on my claim that I do via lawful notice. And I want you to understand how to actually do that, because life is the ultimate school. And we are living in a house of cards that makes us think we have to climb on others in order to get to the top, when that is not the truth. It's just the way it has been, and the old way is falling because we are going to choose to stand together, right? I'm using NLP, NeuroLinguistic Programming. I'm saying right, asking you a question, but what I'm actually doing is seeding in your consciousness that what I said was right, right? See how it's done very subtly to manipulate you? But by telling you that I'm doing it, I'm not trying to take from you. I'm trying to inform you. I'm trying to put your substance into a form you understand. So when it's done to you and you're unwittingly subject to someone else's manipulation, now you can say, oh, Laura J mentioned that. And I now realize they're trying to play me. And so now you'll be better informed and then can choose differently. So this is what we're going to do in the month of September. So I hope that you will join me, not as a class of persons or any other status, title, or personage that would make you think you are other than you are. I want you to show up real. I want you to know that in order to heal, we have to call our power back to the present moment. This present now moment is how we create the new orderly world together. Together. We must actually come together in harmony within the heart and the mind, so that we bring the thoughts and feelings together and create the new orderly world, the newly ordered world that is the now. We have a chance somehow to create together as creators, conscious co-creators of a reality that we actually want to leave for the next generation who follow us, who are walking the path now, for we are living. The devil lived. Lived is devil backwards. Think of these things with the inner eye. When you realize, when you see the truth in a new way, in a new light, and you say, oh, wow, okay, now I know better and I can do better because I know better. So I send you love. Would love to know what questions you have just from this message. So do leave a comment down below. Make sure you're subscribed to this channel. We are all channels. We'll talk about the radio transmitter theory in a subsequent message. But in the meantime, you can subscribe to my YouTube channel, sub-scribe, scribing under, the one who is scribing for you now. Yes, describing. It's all there for us. My English degree actually came in very handy in latter years. But when I didn't want to just be a teacher in a school system I don't believe in, people thought, what was the point? As did I at times. And now I see I'm an author and I am a teacher. And I am also a student continually because I am always up to learn. And that is what we're going to do together, not because we need to earn our way in this world, but to say that it is more fun to play the game of life together. So let us gather in good company. Peaceful Inner Warriors United is an opportunity that I created, which you will be invited to subscribe to this channel here. And if you want emails to your inbox, then please make sure you're subscribed to ljeh.ca as well. There's a sign up box with the confirmation email you'll have to check in order to say you definitely want to be in the know, and also know that the ledge you know is what knowledge is. And what I hope to help you do is step into the wizard's domain, which is what wisdom is, if you are willing to claim the right to be who you authentically are, who you came here to be. And we're going to breathe together at times, because sometimes breath is the only thing we really need in order to call ourselves present, to be powerful where we are, and to recognize that your past has brought you to the present moment, and your future will arrive in the now then, because of what you choose to do now. So the now is all we've got. It's our power position. We're going to talk about more of that in the messages coming soon. Thank you. I appreciate you. Peace.